So that will bring us to PJ's pick.
What's that?
This week I wanted to talk a little bit about Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. This is a game that came out on as a normal flat game, or whatever you want to call it, and then got a VR treatment down the road. I played this on Xbox when it came out in like 2018, I think it was. And it was cool, like the audio is freaking nuts. So the game is about, it's kind of mixing Vikings and Norse mythology and bringing it into like a mental illness awareness game. Sounds crazy, but it's, you put the headset on, like if you play, you have to play this game with headphones, good headphones. I mean, because graphics are great, the gameplay is cool, but the audio is like, there's whispers in your ear, and part of the mental illness, like the character sees things that aren't always there and hears shit, and it builds an atmosphere that's unbelievable.
Did it do that on Xbox as well, or is it just added to the VR?
It's Xbox, it's every form of it does the audio. Because on the Xbox I had my Rig headphones, and they have Dolby Atmos, which is 360 sound, and it was nuts. So I'll share a clip with you, and this clip will also be on our YouTube, VR Verdict on YouTube. I'm sharing a hour 43 clip with you. You don't just skim through it and whatnot, but I'll cut it down and add our commentary as well as share the full thing.
The link didn't work.
Well, that's nuggets. Okay. So for listeners, I played this on Xbox, and like I said, it sounded cool. It was really cool looking. Still, the atmosphere was there, and it was kind of freaky. And I played through, there's kind of like levels in the game. I played through the first level or so, and I was just like, I really dig what they're trying to do, but it just wasn't gripping me, so I didn't go any further with it. And then a year later or so, when I got in VR, and I put the headset on, and I got it on sale. I'm like, I'll check it out again. Maybe it's a little different. And holy shit, when you put the headset on and fire this game up, the atmosphere and like the Xbox version was nuts, but in VR it is freaking just creepy as hell. It's there's no words for it. It's just, so when you're in the game, at first it's really strange because it's still a third-person game, and your camera's set right behind Senua, which is, I really like it. It's really neat, but it's a little off-putting first because I think it's the first game to kind of do that. And you have to actually still use a controller, which some people don't like, but I think it's awesome. And just looking through the world, like the graphics and the mental illness stuff where you see things and hear things, it's just, like, this game creeped me the hell out. I had to make myself finish it. It's not really gory or like horror, it's just that's how well the atmosphere is. But I still, like, every couple of weeks, it's like, I want to go back to that game. Try it and get back into that world.
Nice.
But have you played it at all? I couldn't remember if you tried it or not.
I have not. I bought it when it was early access on Xbox way back. And I think I even was like, dude, you got to look, this game looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I never actually got around to playing it. Like, I'm way into like the Celtic and the Viking aesthetic and everything anyway. So this looks every bit as good as like a, Rockstar's Red Dead or any hyper realistic game. It's nuts watching your video walk through all like the atmospheric fog and lighting and volumetricness, where it's not just like, oh, there's a gray slider of fog. Like, you are stumbling through this forest and these villages, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. And I won't spoil anything. It's really hard to spoil something because just how crazy the game is, but there's one area where you're trying to make your way through this forest, and you turn left, and you just look left, and it's just a forest, and then you look right, and then you look left again, and there's just like a portal that just kind of comes out of nowhere that you didn't see before. And then when you walk through it, like, the whole, it's the same area, but it changes again, and just the visual effects is just, it's mind blowing. And just some of the stuff that you kind of see that, and you don't even know if it's there or not, to be honest. It's just creepy. But yeah, I dig Vikings and the Norse mythology stuff, and that's what really drew me to it. But I cannot. This is. I'm still playing through Half-Life Alyx, but which is amazing and has the same caliber of atmosphere and stuff. But I think this one actually is almost atmosphere-wise a step up, because just how they recorded everything in the audio is just nuts.
This game is pretty much just about that. It's just telling the strangest story.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you can't. Yeah, I don't think you could tell the story without just the simple, subtle attention to detail.
So, and another cool thing that there was I dig old school anime. Berserk's one of my favorite animes. For those who know what that is, there's a level straight out of that anime, and it just made me so happy. But it's not a place you want to be in.
Very disturbing.
Very disturbing, but it was just like, wow. Like, I think I audibly gasped when I was going through there. It was just crazy.
That makes me want to go play it, at least on Xbox, if I don't want to buy it. And I think I should probably get it on VR and just do that.
Yeah, I can't recommend this one enough.
Can you play your Rig headphones with your Quest? Is that going to fit?
I don't think that works because the Rig uses that USB dongle.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you kind of go like the Quest through the PC route, then you probably could. That's a whole different ball.
You don't have you don't have to use that, or you just play it on the Quest and it still looks that good?
I only played it on the Rift, and the Rift has an amazing audio, so I didn't try it on the Quest yet.
Because I know the Quest hit when you use that instead of the Rift, or using the Quest link cable.
Mm-hmm.
I know the graphics hit isn't, tremendous. It's there, but it's not tremendous. But a game like this, I think on one hand, it's got all of the level of detail and stuff to spare cutting it back, and you could still have an enjoyment. But then you'd really want, on the other hand, to take advantage of all that.
So I was watching this video on my phone, just making sure it kind of came up, because I actually recorded this through Facebook a while back, not too long, but just like a couple months ago. So I was just checking out, and on the phone, the audio was still, I mean, obviously it's phone speakers, but the audio, you could still, like, the voices were coming from different areas.
It's crazy.
And then I finished it on my way to work in the car. I just had the audio playing, and it was like some shit's in my back seat, and I gotta pull over.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a bad idea, because even if you're not watching the screen, you'd be like fucking seeing shit.
So if you only have a Quest and you want to play this through the Quest link or some other means, I think even a halfway decent set of headphones, you're gonna have a really good time, because the audio is so good. Like you said, they have audio to spare. So if that's your setup, give it a shot. I'm sure it's still amazing.
That's the thing that's going to stop me from doing a lot of stuff, because it's like, well, I have these great headphones. The Rig, you have the same Rig 800X or whatever it is. Best sounding things I've ever heard, with the Atmos especially. Then I'd want to hear it with this while looking at it in VR. How do I get that to work? Because this game is aesthetic that's right up my alley, except for the creepy stuff. Because I'll be riding around, again, I pitch Red Dead every once in a while, but sometimes, certain ways forests look, or if it's foggy and stuff like that, like anything with like a hyper realistic sense that really pulls you in, that alone can creep me out. Because it's like, in Red Dead, I don't know if there's a grizzly bear going to come up and bite me in the ass, because it's happened. You just hear roar, and then your game's over and you freak out and pee a little. But this game, I can just sit there in those style of games and in the environment, just like hang out in there. This one, I think I'd want to rush through it just to get out of hell, or wherever you are.
Yeah, there are some areas that this game actually, you honestly literally want to run through it, and it kind of makes you feel that way, which is fucking nuts. But this isn't, I don't think this is a spoiler. There are no jump scares in the whole game. It's just all atmosphere, but again, that's just how great it is. So
And
you
that's
see
my
some
perfect
disturbing
yeah.
things, but it's not, like I said, it's not horror. There's nothing like that. You see some fucked up shit because it's Norse mythology, and
Yeah.
so that's the only thing. Like I didn't look at anything. I didn't know if there were jump scares or not when I was playing it, so I was a little more on edge. So just knowing that, maybe it'll make it a little more tolerant. But you're still gonna be like,
Oh, I don't.
wow.
It doesn't bother me either way. If there's scary stuff in the game, I'll handle it the same. Even like with me, it's either not creepy at all, or there's that sense where I'm making it creepier than it is, just because it's like, oh, this forest could have something gross in it.
Yep.
Or if it's like scaring the shit out of me, I'll like yelp and stuff, but I'll probably laugh because like holy shit, that's messed up. But the creepy atmospherics. I remember there's I think near the near the end of the Witcher 3 game. This isn't a spoiler for that at all, but you're walking through a forest where like some weird shit went on or something. It's like decaying and stuff, and I'm just walking through that. And I think you might have had the Yennefer chick with. I don't remember. I think there's somebody else kind of NPC walking with you, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just getting like weirded out. Same thing, creepy forest at night, and I'm like, man, this fucking place is creepy. And then like not 10 seconds later, the Geralt, the lead of the game, goes, "This forest is creepy." And I'm like, no, I know, right? I'm so like out of sorts. I'm talking to the fucking video game character. Like, I'm glad you agreed with me, Mr. Invincible Damon Monster Hunter person, because now I don't feel as bad for being a puss.
It's funny. So yeah, so there's a second one coming out, but what happened was Microsoft bought this studio, which is Ninja Theory, and they're making a second one, and they showed it off when they actually showed the Xbox Series X for the first time. It looked nuts. My only question is, are they going to be allowed to put that in VR as well? I'm so hoping they do, but they haven't said yet. So
that could be a killer app if they only release VR on their headsets. I hope that nobody does that, but I mean,
we'll see.
I don't like you said, before you keep trying to get me into some of the VR games, and I'm like, I want to play it, but I'm just doing other stuff or something. This game has been on my mind at least once a month since I bought it in like 2018 or whenever it came out. I'm like, God, I want to go play that Celtic game.
And I've read stories where, like I said, this kind of deals with mental illness in a crazy way. There are a lot of stories I've read where people with mental illness have like broken down after playing this and cried, because this helps you understand what they go through. So like their spouses or what have you can finally somewhat understand it. That's how good this game does it.
And that's the best way to tell stories, because there's stuff like the Joker, or just Joker movie, and then I forget what the name of a TV show is from a couple of years ago. It was almost like its first episode or a couple episodes weren't a superhero arc, but they were like in a public pool setting. It was some sort of like government testing. But that movie and then the Joker, like the people, I don't know that many people that have mental illness, but I knew one in high school, and like you just get a sense of it. And the Joker movie, I felt incredibly sad watching that one. Like there's other people like laughing in the theater, and I was laughing at like the oh shit, he just did what he did in the scene there. No spoilers. But like I just get incredibly sad because I hate like people misunderstanding people. Like it just drives me nuts to see somebody like giving in high school, like the jocks giving the weird kids such a hard time and stuff like that. It's like you just leave people alone, pieces of shit. And if this game can kind of tell that story while still being like it looks like I don't know if it is AAA, but it's
like a AAA game from a AA studio. Is what it is.
That's kind of if I were to care about awards, like video game awards or anything like that, or that would be something I would award, like trying to make a difference while still making a hack and slash video game.
Yeah, they said when they set out this was an 18-month project, and it turned into 3 years because they just got so far into it. and they used I can't remember the term, but like a specialist that deals with this stuff to kind of go, make sure it made sense and go through it. And that guy was blown away. And there was even it's one last thing here, a story about like a teenager or younger child played this game, and he literally said, "This game made me understand myself. I was honestly about to commit suicide this week, and this game made me go seek help, and I got help."
Wow,
that right there, that's pretty amazing.
That's worth more than the $2 billion that Minecraft made. You know, that's worth everything on the planet to me. So I'm gonna go buy the game after we're done recording, just to show these guys support. I'm gonna buy it a second time, just to show these guys support. And like, I don't know why, but unless it's like Geralt or somebody I really like John Marston from the Red Dead game or the new game Arthur Morgan, I usually dig the female characters better because they just look so much cooler. And this chick looks awesome.
Yeah.
But they could have done a Tomb Raider, too, where they just giant boobs and like some sort of supermodel running around through a tomb. But this chick just looks like a plain old badass. Like the person that you're controlling just looks like somebody that fits the scene. So they didn't go like, super dynamic with that, because that's a problem.
I follow the lady who did the motion capture and the acting and everything for Senua. Her name is Melina Jurgens. And when they started making the second one, she was posting pictures because she goes all out. She has like the whole thing on, doing motion capture and all that. She looked nuts, like an actual like Viking warrior.
Going all method on it.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell, like, for some odd reason, in some facets, I dig dreadlocks, but I hate it when they, like in games, like people use them and it's like, oh, that's just, there's a bunch of stuff where people have dreadlocks, but her freaking hair, somebody like that walk down the street, I'm not gonna be like, think they're gross or anything like that. I'm just like, that person's committed to something that I want nothing to do with. It looks so freaking cool. It's like just straight a warrior.
Yeah, the really neat thing about the third person perspective, so you go through all different scenery, and there's some caves that she squeezes through, like you get really close to the model, the character model, and the frickin' just the graphics and the detail attention to detail is what I'm trying to say is insane. Like the eyeballs like follow like it's just nuts. It's so good.
It's such like a, like you were saying at first, like it's the third person controller thing that's weird, but dealing with how they're telling the story, I'm glad they didn't make it first person, because it's kind of like if you're having problems telling reality from mental constructs, I would guess you could call it. Like you might, out of body or third person, like you're watching yourself, but it's not yourself. So like you, without the character model, you looking around and interacting and then controlling a person who's kind of like almost doing their own thing. It's such a disorienting yet gripping, anchoring dynamic. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, it really, like, even though I was like, especially at the parts where, like I said, they're kind of pushing you through and you're literally running because you're freaking frightened. It's so good that the model's in there because her facial animations, there's another mechanic to it I won't say, and there's a couple other reasons that I don't think they could have done first person, but I'm just glad it is what it is, because a lot of what I miss is just walking and following her through the environments. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's the first time, I don't know. It's almost like a movie, but just the way the world spins around her, and when you're kind of sensing things, like the world turns colors when things are happening, and I tried to capture some of it, and if I can find them I'll share them, but just the coloring of the world is like, I don't want to use the word God rays because that's nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's just kind of the colors of it. It's just being in VR is amazing.
Holy fuck.
Because like when I'm playing Xbox stuff, like I have my whole room lit by hue lights and it matches everything on screen and it's nuts. But just being in VR and having it done, and what they do with it. It's kind of like looking through glass, where it's just like the colors are just slightly off of each other, so it creates like an illusion.
Like that UV.
Oh my god,
UV blocking stuff.
I would literally just stop and stare at that stuff for like 5 minutes in this game and just hang out. It's so nuts.
Are you usually like that in other games? Because I don't get the feeling that you are like super appreciative of the surroundings.
It depends on the game. If like GTA, I am. Red Dead, I was. If the game allows it and you actually have time to do it, I do, especially in VR. Xbox, not so much, unless like the art is really gripping, so it doesn't happen that often like on Xbox. But in VR, I totally do. Like, I'll just stop and look around and see everything that I can see and just kind of stand there.
Yeah, I was just saying that I think I get that more. Like you said, it has to be the right kind of, visual acuity. Not every game's worth it, but like Witcher 3, I mean,
yeah,
I literally walked in a slow pace on my horse, just, clopping around like the entire map, or sailing. Like, I didn't really fast travel between the Skellige Islands and all that stuff, where I'm just literally sailing all over that thing, just as slow as possible.
Yeah. Wind Waker was kind of the first one I did that in. And then Witcher 3, just the freaking way, like the background, if it kind of becomes a painting.
Yep.
And it's just that was the first time I'm like, that's so fucking cool. And I would do the same thing. I would just like walk or slowly ride Roach down the road and just look at it.
There's some, when I just said like, oh fuck, you're walking around, I don't want to spoil anything, but you're walking around and seeing stuff, and it's the entire reason that I get creeped out by nothing in a forest, but I'm still creeped out, is because that stuff could be there. And then it just totally changes into something like madness, and then dissipates to reality. I'm like, holy Jesus, that was crazy. And nothing happened. You were just literally walking around, but the scenery, what it was feeding you, was just like your senses were on crack for a second, and then they were just like, the fog lifted and you're fine. Like, Jesus.
Yep. And you're not even using audio, so just imagine the double whammy.
I have no silence at all, and I went, fuck, just because like you were walking on a path and there was something in the fog. Like, ah.
That's awesome. So, just wrap up with that. Just if you can check out this game, check it out. Even if it's just on a normal gaming system, it's still so good. I'm trying to come up with a somewhat of a ratings thing, just to kind of. I don't consider myself a reviewer, but I have my opinions. So we'll go with for graphics. Graphics are amazing. They're awesome. The detail, the backgrounds, everything. Character models. The gameplay, I'll say, is good. For a lot of it, you are just walking around. There is combat, and that was my thing on Xbox. Was the combat doesn't change a whole lot, but the combat isn't really why you're playing the game. It's just kind of a necessary tool. It's not bad. It's just not gripping. So that's probably like my biggest negative of the game, and it's not even that bad. Story again is amazing. Full marks for that. Difficulty, there's different options, so whatever you play it on, and I think if I remember right, you can change it anytime, so difficulty isn't really a problem. It's if you want combat beefed up, which I did because it is a little easy. That worked out. Worth it for the price. This game's a little older, so it's probably cheaper now. So whatever you see it at, just buy it. My opinion.
I don't even think it launched at like a $60 game. I think I got it for 30 or something. It's just for visuals. Even if you only played it for like 20 minutes walking through, I think that's worth $30. I mean, it's a moving painting.
Yeah. So multiplayer is just single player only. Nothing else. You don't need anything else. Crossplay, no, there's just it's a Steam game. It's not like on the Oculus storefront or anything like that. So motion sickness and movement, like I said, it's controller only, which doesn't bother me in the least. A lot of some air quotes fanatics don't like that, but F them. And then to round out bugs, I don't recall having any bugs. There may have been a glitch where like a wall was, like the corner of a wall, like kind of stuck in the camera, but if I don't remember it, it's fine, so I won't worry about it. So.
Whereas me, who will stop and stare at, like, again, walking through forests, if there's a tree that the model, like, is on a hill and the bottom of the tree model doesn't really go into the ground and you just see the gap, I'm like, meh. That happens in the rest of the games.
This was more of like a clipping thing that I remember once. So, yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Give it a shot. Let us know what you think. That was my PJ pick.
And that's